This is the Corsair 600C. Featuring an inverted ATX design, this case literally aims to turn the market upside down. But does it succeed in doing so? And is this a case to consider for your next PC? Over the last 6 months, I found out. So then, the Corsair 600C. This is a fairly large case with an inverted ATX design, which basically means that your components are going to be upside down for a more unique look. But interestingly, design-wise, it's a very classic look, and they haven't really done too much to really push the boat out in terms of design. It's a very flat front, and at the top you'll find a hidden door that does reveal two 5¼ inch drives. So if you do want to use a Blu-ray drive or DVD drive, you can still do that here. Elsewhere on the front of the case, you'll find that the front panel has these very large air intakes, and these are going to serve the purpose of reducing the amount of noise from the fans, but still allowing good airflow throughout your case. And the entire front panel does pop off very easily using the internal switches, and then you can just pop it aside, and it's fairly big and chunky, and it does actually do a decent job of reducing the amount of noise. And it's worth noting that the case comes with removable filters on all its intakes, as well as 3 140mm fans, though I swapped these out for LED fans. Move to the bottom of the case and you'll find these huge case feet that do a very good job of allowing for good airflow if you do want to use a radiator in the bottom of the case, and this is what I ended up doing. Look to the top and you'll find the power button, a fan controller, headphone jack, microphone, and then 4 USB ports, 2 of which are 3.0 and 2 of which are 2.0. Move to the right hand side of the case and you'll find the huge acrylic window that does a great job of showing off all your parts. It is on the other side because this is an inverted case and is opened easily enough, and you can remove it as well, so if you actually want to work in the case, it's easy enough without getting it hanging around in your face. Taking a look inside the case reveals that dual chamber design that pretty much every manufacturer these days is going for, but for good reason. It really does work. It allows you to see everything you want to see, hide everything that you don't, and just makes for a general better building experience. And this case was really nice to build in. I've done it twice now, both times was only about an hour or so, really nice and easy, and if you're a beginner it's a great case to get you started, but if you've done it 100 times, you'll be thankful that everything is nice and easy and where you'd expect it to be. In terms of fan and radiator support, you get 3 140mm as standard, and you can fit a 280mm radiator on the front or at the bottom, or you can actually fit a 360 at the bottom. Elsewhere on the case you'll find that we have the magnetic dust filter that goes at the bottom of the case, and you can find this easily at the back. Very easy to remove and insert thanks to those magnets. And then the side panel on the left hand side of the case removes very easily, and it's nice to see that there's plenty of clearance, so if you don't want to do a great job cable managing, you don't have to. And then at the top end of the case you'll find your power supply area as well as the 5¼ inch bay area. Now this is the one trade-off that you are going to have, unfortunately, by having these bays, is the fact that you will basically be giving up drive slots, as there are only 2 3¼ inch drive bays, so if you do want to use 3 hard drives, then you're going to have to find a workaround as it's not really natively supported. But if you do want to use them, you just use these simple quick insertion caddies. Same with the SSDs, these are by far the best system I think on the market. Literally just slot them in, and then there's a little tab for easy removal as well. Everything's very easily laid out and it's very nice to build in. Cable management should be very simple. I didn't need to use a single cable tie, which was great, but if you do want to do a better job then it should be fairly simple for you to do so. Same goes for installing a radiator. This is also very simple. Just because it's at the bottom, it makes it a lot easier to actually fit and install compared to if you're installing at the top. And once you add all the things like that together, you get a really nice, slick user experience. And it's kind of strange, isn't it? This is a case that's inverted. You would expect it to have a few quirks. You would expect it to have a few things that would have you reaching for the manual. But this just wasn't the case. And it's quite funny that the inverted case, the case that's a little bit different, is one of the easiest cases on the market to build in. But it's not just the building experience that I like about this case. The fact that it's got that very large side window means that you can easily see everything in the case. I did use a couple of Bit Phoenix purple LED strips to sort of light everything up. And overall, as long as you're looking at this from the right angle, you've got a case that really does show off all your hard work and make your components look their best. And I'm also a big fan of that acrylic door, as it makes it very easy to see all your components, as well as it's quite practical because it allows you to open up the case and actually see everything inside, as well as make some small changes if there's a loose cable or something that you want to quickly swap out. It's not flimsy either, and the sound dampening isn't too bad for an acrylic side window at all, and overall you can get something that is both quiet, efficient, and looks great as well. However, there are a few things to note, as it's not all sunshine and rainbows here, the main ones being hard drives. Don't forget it only supports two 3¼ inch drives, so if you do want to do more you have to get an adapter for the 5¼ inch drives, or just go down the SSD route, which is probably what they're encouraging, so fair play. In terms of the acrylic window, if you look at it from the wrong angle you get this weird colour warping pattern, but this really isn't a big deal in the majority of situations. And the case as well is a fingerprint magnet, and it's very difficult to pick up, it's fairly slippy as well, so you are going to need a cloth if you're moving this thing around constantly. But those are pretty minor things really, not really anything that's going to put you off a purchase. The only other real thing that I would say I don't like about the case is if you do look at this from the right angle, or I should say the left angle, it does look a little bit boxy, especially in comparison to some of its competition. It would be nice to see something with a little bit more of a curve, or just something that's a little bit more out there. But overall, this is a cracking case. It's very easy to build in, it's very easy to get something that looks great, and it's very well priced as well, which is why it wins the Top Purchase Award. If you're in the market for something that's a little bit different, this is definitely something to consider. And so, that's the end of this review. Thank you so much for checking it out. Thank you so much to Corsair for providing this review sample, and of course for sponsoring the channel as always. If you do want to see a full build in this PC from start to finish, you can find it in the little eye. And if you do want to find a different case review, you can check out the Phanteks Evolve ATX Tempered Glass Edition, also in the top right hand corner of your screen. Don't forget to subscribe for more case reviews and other computer-based videos. Like this video if you enjoyed it, dislike it if you didn't, leave a comment down below, as well as follow me on @PC Centric for the latest news and just general goings on. And that's about it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.